course. Hi, everyone. Welcome aboard to KMGN's annual course, this year from Strategy to Impact, KM in the new AI era, or the new era. I tell you the truth, I am excited. I'm thrilled. I feel that every religion has its holidays, and the opening of the KMGN course is one of our annual holidays, together with the KM week, and together with maybe one or more two additional holidays. But no doubt this is one of our holidays, one of our days where once a year again, after we didn't see our friends for quite a time, we meet again, we smile again, we start learning again, and we take KM again to higher places, to deeper understanding, and to larger and more connected community of KMers. So what are we expecting this year? Now I will show my presentation. It won't take long because we have a session for today. So here we go. First of all, we are recording, right? Someone sees the recording on his screen?
Yes,
Recording
perfect.
Yes, it's on.
Yeah, it
Yes.
is. It's on.
It works.
Wonderful. I'm so frightened that something will break down, but it's working. Wonderful. So KMGN in the new era, from strategy to impact. That wasn't an easy call because every year we take a topic and we dive deep and even deeper. This year we decided not to dive deeper into one specific subdiscipline of KM, and there were several of them that were candidates, but to look at the journey that each of one of us takes, no matter what the needs are, from an idea to business change, to organizational change, in the better way, of course, to impact. And we decided that even though we all know how to do it, it's good that we take the time, we pause, we learn, and as I said, dive and improve our understanding and sharpen our thoughts and do it even better. Because if each one of us will do one thing a bit better, so together we'll be much far away, and not only a small change, but really together make an impact. So that's why we decided to speak about a strategy, about the strategy to impact journey this year. Every year I have together with me a team, and together we build this course. So Vincent is with me all the years. We work on these courses together. And this year we brought in Rudolf. Maybe some of you or many of you know Rudy, who was our chair of KMGN already, also for several years before we turned it to be, it was already 1 year, but we had a problem. So he took another year and another year, and he was with us nearly 3 years. And you'll get to know him better already today because he will be leading our session today. Vincent, I don't have to introduce, but you can see his glasses. One square, one round. He's never square. He's everything but square. If next time he will come with glasses that are stars, that will define him the best. So that's the team. But this is the team of those who have built the course and those who manage it behind the scenes. We have with us over 15 different different leaders from all over the world. We have Manfred from Austria, and Susan from Bangkok, and Olga and Vadim from Russia, and it could go on and on, Switzerland, all kinds of countries, India, many countries, many perspectives, all building together the journey of the KM project, or the KM initiative, the KM program, from beginning to end. So we will have a very big cluster that is devoted to speaking about the strategy, from discovery through understanding and mapping the knowledge state, to emphasizing on risks, to understanding models, how you understand what you have and what you need, to how to build a strategy for KM. We will discuss the guerrilla approaches when strategy top-down isn't effective, or when we cannot have a classical strategy. We will see how to embed the I-3041 if we want it to serve as a compass for us for KM excellence. When we're speaking about the strategy, we will also ask ourselves all the time, how can we ensure that it is business aligned? And at the end of this cluster, we will meet Jayadatta from Afcons and listen to a case study. The second cluster will be about change management, starting with planning the change management program. We're using storytelling as a main tool in order to deliver it. We will speak about different models of change management, and we will learn some of the practices, of the good practices from the book Fearless Change of Mary Lynn Mance, and I don't remember the other co-author, who wrote a book and then a second book where they describe over 70 practices that do with change management, daily practices, how to do it better. We will continue and listen to a case study. We will learn about leadership, which is essential for the change management program, and look at the last but not least about measuring it. We continue to the next cluster. We always work on knowledge management processes, and at the same time supporting it, surrounding it with speaking, or in parallel to it, about the culture. So we will be speaking about the knowledge sharing and innovation culture. We will be speaking about the working environments together. These build us a culture, and we will dive into the issue of hidden knowledge and discuss this as part of the more challenging issues that we have with culture. Facing the future, we will speak about community collaboration. We will learn to understand what are the main projects that are ongoing nowadays, 2025, 2026, how they can help us. Technology as a strategic advantage. AI, this is an important issue. Yes, I'm giving a session on AI, but AI will be embedded into all sessions. All sessions, or almost all sessions, will discuss our AI in their specific context. And of course, this is the code name when we're saying wrapping up. This is the code name to say, now, here is the place where you, each one and one of you, and including myself, we all prepare our assignment, summarizing, going through all the materials, summarizing, choosing, filtering what can help us better, what we learned, and what we're doing tomorrow morning. So this is our agenda. It will be 22 weeks. Somehow we always come back to 21, 22 weeks. And until the summer, we are starting the same hour, 12 o'clock. I'm reminding us that somewhere around April, some of us are moving to summer time zone. And therefore, the time will change for the countries moving to a summer time zone. Please beware to that. Sometimes people are so used to coming at the same time that they don't think to change it, but we are here something that's time less and zone less. We are here together. So before I move and enable Rudolf to introduce himself and start speaking about the discovery, I just want to ask everyone now to please, even though some of you wrote hello, please write your name, even though it says, but not everyone, your first name and your country. So we see what countries we have here in our team. So let's go on and share your name and your country, and then we can say hello in so many languages and start sharing knowledge. Here we go.
Hello, I'm Thais and I'm from Brazil.
Hello to Brazil, UK, India, United UAE, Netherlands, Ireland, Switzerland, Germany, Philippines, Singapore, Italy, Austria, India, Slovenia, Australia. Ah, Lynn, we are so proud of you that you are sleeping and you are still writing. Germany, UK, additional places that I missed.
USA.
South Africa, Brazil, Guatemala, USA. Wonderful. I think we're going to have such a sharing culture that we will all enjoy learning from one another from so many different, Guatemala. It's the first time we have from Guatemala. We're so proud. Thank you. So, okay, we will continue. You can continue sharing if you didn't do it yet. Oh, we have Alexander for Belgium. And that's time for me to stop. And please, Rudolf, a dear friend, one of the most brilliant KMers, you may take the stand.
Thank you, Moria. And wonderful to be having so many people from across the world. I'm Rudolf, and I have been in the field of knowledge management since 2003. I am proud of the fact that I have actually done the implementation from scratch up to becoming, even well-known case studies globally, Mike Awards, and so on. So I'm sharing my knowledge with you that I have gained over the years through this particular course. So the first thing when we look at knowledge management, I am a very firm believer that knowledge management has to deliver, has to work on business results. All too often when I meet KMMers, they will tell me, what are you doing in KM? Oh, we are working on this wonderful portal. Today we are putting in AI connects, and we are creating agents for lessons learned. But I always ask, what is KM solving? And today that is the biggest concern, because management keeps asking, what is the ROI on KM? And KMMers itself don't know what problem they're actually solving. So KMM has to be right at the strategic level, and that has always been my way of working with management. And this course is doing exactly that. It is from strategy to impact. And discovery is Albert Einstein has said in this quotation, I had so much of time, maybe 1 hour. I think about the problem 55 minutes and think about solutions for 5 minutes. Run to solutions. And I have been guilty of that too. Just experience in discovery. I joined this company in 2003. Those of you who know my story know that I'm an accidental KMMer. That story can be shared at some other time. This company was part of the big Tata group. Most of you would have heard of it. And at that time, there was something called knowledge management that was taking the world by storm, because we were entering the knowledge era. And so the managing directors of the companies had been taken to US, and they had gone to Raytheon, they had gone to NASA, they had gone to Motorola to understand knowledge management. And they came back, and then I joined as head of KM by accident. We'll share that story when we meet personally. And what were we doing? We came out with a brilliant portal. In those days, it had the works. It had an LMS built into it, had a holes. And what we did, there was a team of 3. We went across the country. We had some 35 offices. We went and we launched this lovely, massive portal. And we were doing a great job on the portal. And this company has this annual strategy meeting where they launch a strategy for the next year. There were 400 managers in the room. And I proudly took the stage and I asked, genuinely, can you tell me how many of you have actually been impacted by knowledge management? Can you put your hands up? And the managing director, very excited because that was his pet project for the year. And then he stood up and he looked around at the back. And out of 400 people, just 4 people put up their hands. That was a shock. And so what we did what we should have been doing in the first places, meeting the constituents, finding out what were the expectations. And so this is what we did for the next 6 months. We went office by office, and actually knowledge management, actually, one second, there's a incoming call. I need to just mute. Yeah. So we went around. Actually, knowledge management was for the salespeople, the frontline executives. And in those days, there were no computers. So we had built this brilliant system, but no one could use it. So we did introduce one computer in every office. But what we actually did, we revised our strategy and we went into the written word and we focused on people first. So we went meeting people, etc. And this actually led to the next major milestone in the journey of knowledge management in the company, the Knowledge Olympics. As we went around the company listening to people, they kept throwing us all their problems. And once when the Olympics was announced, we had this lovely idea, innovative idea that why don't we have a Knowledge Olympics? We put all the problems together and people formed teams and they worked on it. And there was a lot of business, there was a lot of unlocking of value in the organization. More importantly, we formed 5 dream teams in the area of employee satisfaction, customer management, in terms of new businesses, in terms of processes, etc. And over 2 years, we transformed the organization. So that really is about listening and discovering. And my second experience of discovery. So now I had started my own consultancy and my reputation preceded me. And there was this chairman of this infrastructure company. The particular company in that year there was a dip in the top line. They had made losses and in 2 years they could go belly up. And he tells the management team, I know this knowledge management can save you. And I know the savior, Rudolph. Rudolph is the savior of the world. He'll come across and he will help you turn around things. So knowledge management was projected as a magic wand, and I was brought in. Now, when I came in, the management didn't know knowledge management, and I did not know about the infrastructure sector. So you can imagine what it is. So the first task that I was given is to write the KM policy manual. But let's step back a little bit. Actually, knowledge management is a magic wand. Because what we did when we traveled around to the different projects, we started to recall why was knowledge management first thought of in the first place. The chairman had said there was a dip in top line, they were making losses, they could go belly up. So that really we looked at why was knowledge management proposed, and we started looking at the different operations through this lens. That was really the turning point. Over time, we actually turned around. The company said, now we want to, the vision is to be a knowledge enterprise. That's a success story, but that is for later. The first task is to find your why. If you find your why, then you can go on to the next stage. So constantly we need to ask, why is knowledge management thought of in the first place in this company? And we need to keep revisiting it year on year. Now, the second part is, what are we solving? What problem are we trying to solve? This is an important question that can actually transform your entire strategy. So this was a question, is it the processes? Is it training? Is it delay in customer problem resolution? Is it employee morale? So we actually started looking at this. there was an insurance company, let me give you an example. So they had said that, we have 1.13 million agents, but only 35,000 are active. And we want to activate all the 0.1 million agents. What were we trying to solve? That was the question. And through this process, we understood that, okay, maybe it was a training issue, maybe there was a best practice sharing. There was a hospital that we were asked to work on customer satisfaction. And we tried to see what exactly was the real issue. So only when you understand what is the underlying problem, can you then progress on your strategy. Once you understand the underlying problem, then you have to look for the root causes. Okay, so from the business problem, identify the underlying root causes. And there are many techniques of root causes. So what we'd like to do here is that we'd like you to do a quick mirror board exercise. It is of 10 minutes. Maria, you're ready with the mirror board? You could post it in the chat. And the exercise is very simple. 5 minutes, you introduce yourself. And for the next 5 minutes, you type in, as per your teams, there are 6 teams. Do type in and tell us what techniques you use to find root causes. Okay, and is there any, how have you actually gone to the root cause in your organization? Okay, so we could do that quickly. In the meantime, I'd like to tell you that as I'm speaking, if there's anything that is confusing, I like a lot of reaction. So maybe you can give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you have questions, you could type it in the chat and Moria can help me with asking the questions. If it's relevant at that stage, I'll answer it immediately. Otherwise, I could answer it on at a later stage. Okay, so now we are opening up the mirror board. Moria, you're on mute.
I'm opening the breakout rooms so everyone can go to their specific room.
So quickly, would each group share? You have about a minute to quickly share all the different techniques that were used. Group 1.
I'll share the screen.
Okay. So a lot of people used
Someone for
interviewing.
team 1?
Team 1.
I'll share the names. We had.
Sorry, hello
Vafra,
everyone. We had a
Julie.
little trouble connecting here since people are on the phone as me. And we had some time introducing ourselves and talking about how we got here and work with knowledge management. We didn't really discuss the techniques, but people are sharing here. So I guess interviewing on the existing policies and focus group discussion. I think talking to people, since we have 3 post-its here that include the interview and focus groups. So I think getting on out there and talking to stakeholders, different stakeholders, and then workshops again. So I guess communicating and trying to talk to people involved. And then match actions and results as another idea here. So I think we still need to develop more.
That was Julia from Brazil.
Yes.
Now, team number 2, we had Gerald, Katharina, Lynn, Newman, Pavel, and Manfred. You will speak on behalf of room 2?
we didn't agree on that. But what we did agree, and what we all kind of shared, was that once was that ask executives about their personal goals that they have to achieve to get their bonus at the end of the year, and interviewing and talking with different people on different levels where you can get more insight. And I see a new post-it. Could look at the data and formal RSC reports, but talking to people is usually the way to go. I think this is the main takeaway from our group. Thank you.
Thank you. RCA's root cause analysis. Team number 3, we had Andy, Eden, Gunnar, Jonathan, Maria, Simon, Vincent, and Olga.
Yeah, maybe we let me step in just to not waste too much time. Yeah, so we just got a chance to introduce ourselves. So we didn't have much time to discuss, but just by looking at the sharing, so what being able to get from lessons learned, interview, brainstorming, and formal conversation, also using the empathy approach from design thinking to understand the pain points and potentially the needs of different users. Thank you.
I'm helping you, Rudolf, as I have the screen and the numbers, names. Moving to team number 4 with Alexander, Kim, Martin, Mohan, Patrick, and Severin.
Who want to start? No one. We discuss only a few moments, because we start by presenting ourselves, and even with the small limited of town, you see that we were very creative. So there are different methodology, the 5 whys, the 5 why or the 6 why. Sometimes we forget the how in these why can be used. Well, also the Pareto analysis. We have also the risk and process review to understand where the organization is and what is the main issues. K-needs analysis. Start at the end to identify cultural component. Also, I see sabotage session. I don't understand exactly what it is. If the person who write it can say something.
That's me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So really just bringing people together and looking at the problem and saying, how can we break this situation? What are the ways it could go wrong, and how has it gone wrong, and what's that tell us about the causes and what we can do about it? So yeah, that's a sabotage session.
You call it sabotage session. You start strongly with the meeting. Excellent. We have a sabotage session and a Socratic debate. Excellent. We are very philosophical.
Moving to team number 5. Thank you. Team number 5, you had Anahit, Simon, Katrina, Stephanie, Isis, Ved, and Vika.
Yeah, so team number 5, this is Ved here. Team number 5, we had 2 different dimensions on which we looked at the root causes. That is what emerged from the points that you see on the board. So one was around interacting with people, the key stakeholders, with the new joiners, with the end users who are close to work, etc. The second was more data-oriented approach. So you look at auditing of various systems that are there, the tickets that are there, analytics on the data that is available, the RBG classification of different topics, etc. So we had the people aspect and the transaction system or technology aspect of looking for the root causes.
Thank you. And last but not least, team number 6, we had Alice and Jessica, Marcus, Kolomonitsky, Ruan, and Vengopal.
Thank you, Moria. I've been asked to do the feedback. So we've divided it into 2 parts, the root cause tools and models, and the approaches, because it's quite human-centric, we found. So the 5 whys analysis, really good way to just keep asking questions to get into the detail and then eventually reach the root cause. Pareto is another useful one, thinking about that 80-20 and trying to get to the most critical root causes. Critical factors, I'm not sure, I haven't used that particular tool, but it was one that was mentioned. And one I think most people will be very familiar with is the Ishikawa fishbone diagram, where you're looking at things from a number of perspectives like people, tools, environment, and try and map all of the different elements of the problem to those different potential root causes. So some of the approaches that we came up with, kind of the human-centric knowledge sharing piece around getting together in a workshop, knowledge cafes where everyone congregates and talks through certain challenges, hackathons. I've done a few of those in my time. Hacking through the problem and getting to the root causes and then determining what the solution might look like. There was a really good one around the in-context conversation. So particularly when you're in the service management part of an organization, talking through the problem directly with the end user or the customer, knowledge sharing across projects and capturing that knowledge into insight reports to then share more widely. And lastly, the brainstorming. So ITIL talk about it in terms of swarming around the problem, getting a whole load of people together and quickly getting to that root cause by sharing knowledge and expertise. So those are all from Team 6. Not sure if the other Team 6 colleagues have got any other additions to that.
Wonderful. We've got a whole range of techniques, and they are dealing with two things. One is the people part of it, and the other is actually the techniques that we use. And one of the I hope you can see my screen.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. Okay, so there are a whole host of techniques, but one effective way is use MTP. Has anyone know what's MTP? Meet the people. I think that is what KMMers have to do. You've got to go around, talk to people, meet them, understand the issues. Now, when you talk at the top level, they will give you a strategic view. When you talk at the bottom level, they will give you something very basic around the needs. It's a mid-level that really where you'll actually find what you need to be working on, the operational part of it. So meeting people at all levels is very critical. Only then you are able to actually operationalize your KM strategy. And then you come to the how. So why they've introduced KM, what are we trying to solve, and then how there are multiple techniques. This is the KM landscape that we have. John Howell updated it last year, and right now Andrew Hurd is working on the new landscape. So you need to use the tool in the particular context of the organization, on the particular situation actually that you're facing. Don't blindly follow any of the tools. Okay, sometimes it is important. Like, for example, when I started out with that company and they said, oh, create a policy manual, you need to show some action. So sometimes maybe it is safe to start maybe expert talks or, sort of create communities. These are and that will come under Gurara tactics also. So these are actually ways in which you can keep the people engaged. So really it is about.
I want to stop you for a minute. I think that when you sent us to work on the root cause questions, people automatically thought about lessons learned and automatically went to something specific. Now you're taking us back to a high level, saying don't jump into the journey. Don't start finding the first hill or the first stack and saying this I'll work on. You're telling us don't settle with what people are telling you. They are saying what they want, but first understand why they want it, or in other words, what's the real need behind it. And only when we understand the needs, then we can start speaking about other things. Did I now understand better?
Very, very right, Moria. You absolutely got it. I was jumping. like we normally do straight away into solutions. But really, this is it. You need to stay with the problem. And this is going to come out in the next sessions also. How do you map out? And then, so we typically tend to then get into what we need to do, lessons learned, etc. We jump into it. But sometimes you need to just start off something to keep people occupied while you're actually working out your strategy. So it is important. So really, it is about why we have knowledge management in the organization, what are the problems that we are addressing, and then the how, using the tools, the different tools that we need to address. Okay, let me just take you through. If somebody is a little confused, if you recall, I was asked to look at this organization because there was a problem with the top line growth. There were some losses and they could go belly up. Okay. Also, people asked a lot about return on investment on KM. So this was the management concern. The why do we have KM in the company? What are the possible issues? Maybe it is when you talk of top line growth is stagnating. Maybe it is there's a issue on the tendering. They're not tendering smartly. Maybe it is about competition is becoming more aggressive. Then we get into the root cause. Okay, so what is the root cause? Maybe you're not learning from our previous quotations that we have submitted. I'm talking in a specific context, so please you apply it in your context also. Okay, and then we then look at the KM processes. Should we do lessons learned? Should we innovate, etc.? Okay. Similarly, when you talk of losses, the issue is how do we improve margins? That is the first issue that we need to look at. Okay. Now, why is there the root cause? Why is the margins are tight? Okay, maybe there's wrong estimates, maybe there are mistakes being made, you have to rework, etc. So what could be the processes, that we can use? How do we solve this? I hope you're getting an idea about the why, the what, and the how through this. Any questions at this stage?
Crystal clear.
Thank you. Okay, now there are some finer points that I want to bring up from my experience. KMMers need to know the industry. You need to know what's happening in the outside industry. So please look at read industry news. What is my company position? Okay, I want to give you an example of an insurance company with which I worked, and the government was removing the GST on the payments. Now this was going to the tax input on GST. This was going to affect the company positioning. So then what has KM got to do? How do we start working on this 1 year in advance before this thing happens? You need to be part of the strategic team looking at it. Maybe you're not part of the strategic team, but you need to show that how you are so involved in the company. Study the annual letter that they send out to employees, identify concerns from there, build it into your strategy. That when you present your strategy, there is an identification. Yes, this is a problem. This is what KM is planning to do. Linked knowledge management companies normally have a 5-year horizon, a 5-year vision. Okay, there's a company that talked about we want to be one of the safest companies to work for over the next 5 years. So how can knowledge management contribute to that goal? People were leaving it to the safety department, but this is where KM actually can get involved and have annual face-to-face meetings with the head of departments, with the top management. Okay, and ask these few questions. This is what is this. What did we do good? What did we miss? And be prepared for the answers, because we always like to be, the thing, but sometimes they will tell you that you are not helping me, and it could be pretty harsh feedback. Honestly, harsh feedback is very good because it gives you an opportunity to work on it and create from a down to an aha. So I always look upon that. And I'm very happy every year to go and meet people, talk to them. Okay, what was it? Last year we had discussed this. This is what we have done. How do you feel we could have done better? Other thing is, what are your challenges? I remember there was this head of department who said, we are going to get into breakwater. So that's particular this thing. And he was already 2 years ahead in his thinking, and he said that, can you identify knowledge artifacts, etc., and so on, techniques that we could apply? So they'll talk to you about the challenges, focus areas. Where do you believe we could help? So these are some things. I have been asked by a company to help them out in terms of Even can we change the ownership mindset? Can we bring in an ownership mindset in the company? So this is really when you're talking now, these seem esoteric, but these are things that I've actually worked on, and anyone wants any guidance, separately, you can speak to me on this. Important question is, what are the topics we should not address? At one hospital, very clear, meet everyone, but not the doctors. Another company, that please, any serious issues regarding wrong decisions made from top level has to be brought to us directly. You will not be discussing that with anyone. So these are some of the ways and questions that you could ask when you meet people. Other thing, you need to meet at every level, from the top management right down to the user. The user will give you actually things that may not be working in terms of accessibility, etc., and so on. So these are critical issues that you need to see how you put it. Okay? And discovery is a continuous process. It is like an ocean. On top, you will see ships that are traveling. Now, these are programs that you have launched, and so these have to be, so it could be that you've created the lessons learned, maybe you've created expert talks, maybe you've created some artifacts. Now, these have to be brought to show. Some of these ships end their journey actually. So you need to put them safe to harbor, bring out the next set of ships. Okay, understand that. But more importantly, while you're looking at the top, understand what's going on underneath the surface of the ocean. Things are not fully visible to you. There is a constant churn going on. These can cause wobbles in the organization. These can cause wobbles in KM. And things like AI. If you're not very careful about how AI can actually be used, actually be helping, etc. Also learn from adjacent industries, learn from other people from the same industry, call for industry meetings, understand what are the challenges. So KM has to constantly look at what you're actually currently doing, as well as what could be possible things that can happen in the future. So that's how I used the ocean to show what is on top, what is discrete, what is visible. Okay, so some have to be rested, some have to be again relaunched. Okay, and then look at what is coming up next. Okay, what could be the source of future programs that we could be working on. So actually, KM is a strategic function, and we are solving business issues. Albert Einstein said, it's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with the problems longer. So I think when we are looking at our strategy, the first step is stay with the problems. Find out why, the what, and then you can look at the how. There are many, many hows. We normally run to solve issues, but we need to actually understand why is there KM in this company? And this is an annual exercise that you need to be doing. There are signals based on the letters that the management sends out every year to the employees. Okay, there could be other, so please keep looking out. As I said, we are in a strategic function. Questions? Feedbacks?
It's very clear. Very clear.
Would anyone like to share some of the practices that they have done in terms of, how they have, sort of worked on an issue?
Thank you so much. It was very, very fruitful, and mainly that some ideas that we just don't stay longer on the solution, we stay longer on the problem, some ideas. But the most important thing that how to convince management that it's really strategy, how to convince to implement it, because yes, when you do some event, when you do some funny event, so they like it, but when you want to go deeper, to dive deeper and come to knowledge management from really deeper perspective, that it's important for all the stakeholders, sometimes they say, oh, we have no time for it. It's like some, how to say, some beautiful things, but So it's very difficult to convince them, but we need step by step every time to come to this great processes of knowledge management in the organizations. Thank you so much. Was missing to all of you.
Maybe I would like to add another perspective to Anahit, because I actually made living out of knowledge management consulting for the last 30 years, and I never had to convince anybody, because I worked for managers with problems and they told me what they need, and we just solved it with knowledge management techniques. So I am kind of more of the opinion we should ask about the needs, and I like really much, Rudolf, your slides. I will put some of them into my presentation when I have my talk a little bit later on in this course. But really, if you have to convince, I think you lost already.
Yes, it's a matter of culture of the organization, and how do they accept it. Just looking forward to your presentation.
And Yana has some, thank you, Pavel. Yana, you have
Thank
raised
you.
your hand.
Yes, thank you, Professor. I really like how you focused on the why, because it's really reaffirming. For example, like in my context, in the scientific realm, there's really a focus on the data and, like the nitty-gritty details. But I really like how you said we have to start at the why first. And, it's like a swimming against the current for me, because knowledge management is seen as a tool, but it's rarely seen as a strategy. So I look forward to learning more in the next few courses. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you, Yana. Okay, Pavel, I just want to add one comment. We don't need to convince management, honestly, but there's a lot of people ask about ROI. So actually, if you do this way in which you design the strategy, there is people can see the ROI, because you are dealing, and it's constantly evolving. So while they may tell you what is that they want to look for and you work on it, at the same time, there could be adjacent things that can keep coming up from time to time, which you could solve as you go through the entire process. So, thanks for giving the dimension to that also.
But I agree with Yana, and maybe in different continent you have not the same solution. But here in Europe, I guess that the KM market is very low, so that's why we have to convince organization if we want to have a specific business to it. And for the moment, it's very complicated, because, as she said, they don't have time, they don't have resources, they don't have the culture, they don't understand why what KM is, and so we are facing a big iceberg or big mountain to try to identify how we can break this problematic, and that's complex. That's complex.
Yes, thank you, Alexandre.
I think we are ending our session now. So thank you, everyone. And we will be waiting to hear Manfred next week, understanding what we have and how to look at the big picture. Bye all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Great having you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.